Assemble the gun. Once again, we're going to put this back on here in this position. Now this is our, into the bottom of the gun, this is where the bolt goes in that holds the valve in place, and this is our transfer port where the air comes up into the barrel. We want those 180 degrees out. So I've got the mounting bolt there and my transfer port up. We slide this back into the front of the tube. Take our wooden dowel, hopefully, and shove the valve back down into position. Okay, now here you can see I've got, maybe you can see, I've got to line up, need a stronger screwdriver, need to line up my bolt hole, there we go, and you see on top my transfer port, maybe I can get enough light on the subject here, transfer port, you want to line that up with the hole that it lines up with. Okay, stick our bolt back in the bottom. Snug that down either with your chuck or using your wrench if you put flats on it. Now we take our little stop with the pin in it with the threaded hole towards the muzzle of the gun. Take a rod and very gently push that through to keep the pin in place. Okay, that's going to line that threaded hole up with the second hole on. Uh-oh, don't listen to me. Turn the gun over. I got the gun upside down. We want that threaded hole up to the top of the gun. Okay, threaded hole to the front side. Slide it in, and that's going to be in the hole that's next to the transfer port, showing the threads. Okay, now our little hammer goes in, the spring and the end plug. Turn the gun over, take your roll pin, your knurled roll pin that we drove out of there. You may find that wants to go in one way easier than the other because of the grooves on there when it gets pressed in. Okay, it can be a little, there we go. Okay, then what I do, I've got a vise here with soft jaws. Now you can tap this in too, but you want to press that pin home. Yeah, it's still, even with the soft jaws, it could go a little farther. There we go. And I've got that pin in position. Okay, we're going to take our little seal and put it on the forward port, which is the transfer port for the air. Oh, before we do that, you know, I find it easier to put the pump back in. Slide our pump in there. Watch, this little pin is loose on this pivot. You can lose that easy. It just pushes out easily. Okay, slide your pump mechanism in there. You should feel some pressure as you're doing that. Put your front barrel plug and sight on. Place the pin. Got to hold your tongue just right to get all that lined up. Okay. Now, there, we had pressure. Okay, I'm going to mount this in the vise for now, just for kicks. We're going to mount the barrel. Put our little transfer port seal in the forward of the two holes. The one with the threaded holes is your breech screw. Okay, now your barrel. I have the breech screw down in there. Slide it into the front sight holder. Gently set it down into place, making sure you don't knock your breech seal off of there. Tighten it. Now your bolt at this stage can slide right out of there if you want to clean that. There's your bolt. It gets an O-ring on the front to seal against the barrel. Push your bolt up a little bit forward. Put the rear plug in. And you may have to wiggle it around a little to get this bolt to line up. On some guns their tolerances are not. This one I lucked out. It's going right in. Snug that down. Okay, now your bolt will have a let me pull that out again. Your bolt will have a hole in the probe where it comes up against the pellet. There's a hole in one side of that probe, and that's to let the air come up through that hole into the back of the pellet. So make sure you have that hole turned down towards the bottom of the barrel, and then you have your screw hole for the slide cover up about there. Put your slide cover on the right way so it latches over the little pin when it's in the right position, but slide it to line up with the hole. Put your retaining screw into the bolt side. Now we're done. We put our stock back on. There we go. That's all there is to taking apart a 140 or 1400 Crosman. And if you've never had one of these, they're a joy. They're just one of the sweetest pump guns you'll ever have. Thank you for watching.